Hey, how you doing, everyone? This is Jonathan Coase, and in today's free copyright tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you some pretty vintage advertisements just for the sake of showing you how they still work and their evergreen timeless principles that are incorporated into those advertisements from 1963 and 1968. I even got some real earlier advertisement, like for an example, from this book, The Robert Collier Letter. As you can see, we got one that's covering the history of the World War, and I even found one from Apple where they use thought leaders such as Jefferson to demonstrate and illustrate how this new piece of technology, which is primitive to us right now, at that time in 1980, they were using thought leaders to show, hey, Jefferson had one of the best minds of 1776, but today you can make better decisions with an Apple. And they're using a piece of Apple technology to show, hey, this is how smart this thing is. They make computer capabilities seem incredible by comparing it with the work of an older iconic thought leader. So I just want to share with you a couple different advertisements. So the first one that I actually want to start with, because they don't come with annotations, is this never before seen car radio. Never before has a car radio ever done this. Phillips cassette car radio plays your choice of music too. This implies that at the time, obviously in 1968, if you're in a car or any type of vehicle, all you really had the choice was at the time to listen to music was what came on the radio. So the idea of being able to select and have some type of control and choice over your music is very appealing. And that's personally one of the biggest reasons why I gravitated towards Napster and sites like that when I was younger. And around 2010, I just kind of just stuck with YouTube because I feel like I have the most choice and control over it. But I want to read it with you, so let me just zoom in real quick. So it's a quality car radio and a cassette player too. It's one simple unit, the size of a car radio alone. So they're saying not only is it a cassette player and a quality car radio, but it's one simple unit, the size of a car radio just alone. So at that time, a car radio looked about the size of this, except you couldn't put the cassette player in, you had to only change the stations. You can select stations on long and medium waves, which I would argue that the average reader doesn't really know what that means, but it does give a sense of choice, like a sense of options. And you can hear them loud and clear. So that's very important. And you want to make sure that that's clear in the type of advertising where you can't demonstrate whether it's loud or clear or not. You want to say, hey, this is loud or clear. Or insert a music cassette and hear your choice of music. Now, obviously, this isn't a newspaper ad from 1968, so you can't really demonstrate the actual. So what you have to do is you have to sell some intangibles. You have to kind of give the idea, hey, this thing is loud and clear. You got options. You can use medium waves. You'll be able to select your stations or put a cassette tape in it, and then they have an image here that illustrates just the convenience of it all. So there's no scratches, no dust, music can't be erased. And they also take this opportunity to educate on what a music cassette is, because at the time, although it looks primitive to us now, as in we don't even look at this as something up to today's standards, at the time this was absolutely revolutionary, never before seen. So they had to take this as an opportunity to educate. Music cassettes are quality recordings on tape sealed in slim cassettes. No scratches, no dust. Music can't be erased. Hundreds of titles available from pop to classics, and there's a special Philips music cassette car collection available if you purchase a cassette car radio. So they even bundled in a cassette car collection, which is pretty interesting, and it's also very profitable for that business. Ask your dealer to demonstrate Philips RN582, and they're very specific right here. Yours for 38 GNS, which is the recommended price, suitable for 12-volt negative to earth only. I have no idea what that means, but there's some more technical jargon. All right, so that's the first one. I want to demonstrate that one to you. And then the second one, let's go ahead and close out of here, is something similar. It came out in 1963. You'll be able to carry phone in pocket in future. Can you believe this? In 1963, April 1963, at that time, all they had was home phones. And I believe the mobile phones of the time were so expensive and nowhere near, they didn't look anything like the ones that we have today, or even the ones that came out in the 90s. They're like so huge that this right here just looks like something that maybe an alien brought to Earth probably at that time. So someday, Mansfielders will carry their telephone in their pockets. Don't expect it to be available tomorrow, though. Frederick Hunterman, telephone company commercial manager, said this telephone is far in the future commercially. Right now, it's a laboratory development. It is workable, allowing the carrier to make and answer calls. This advertisement is actually pretty revolutionary because it says a visual image telephone. So something you'll be able to see who it is you're talking to. You'll be able to do stuff and see images. So I'll leave this one in the description. I don't want to go over the whole thing, but you kind of see where I'm going with this. I just want to demonstrate how no matter what age you're in, you can sell whatever it is that you're trying to convey if you just use vivid imagery in your words and you're specific in your detail. And you're also able to educate, expand people's minds. Use current technology and then stretch the capabilities of it by saying, hey, this is what's going to be able to do in the future. And if you have something that's brand new, all you got to do is just explain the convenience of it. So this right here is more of a personal assistant, even though it looks primitive to us now, as it says right here. While the phone looks extremely primitive, this was once considered so high tech that it would be like a personal assistant to you. It's helpful to remember that older technologies like this were once considered cutting edge. What we're experiencing with the advance of artificial intelligence, all these new features that were never before seen. But in 10 or 20 years, will seem primitive. It adds 6 ounces to your pocket while lifting considerably more from your shoulders. Consider the Nokia 6100 series wireless phone for your own personal assistance. This digital wonder is loaded with features to help you get through your busy day, up to 199 name phone directory. One-touch dialing, calendar, clock, calculator, caller ID, text messaging, reminder messaging, call waiting, up to 4 hours of talk time, up to 200 hours of standby time, 4 games. What? A profile setting that lets you silence your phone during important meetings? So if you feel as if you're carrying the weight of the world, try carrying the Nokia 6100 series wireless phone instead. And this was an extremely popular phone when I was growing up, by the way. So I wanted to share this with you. I'm gonna go ahead and leave all of this stuff in the description. What I wanted to do real quick is I wanted to share with you 2 books, and I'm not going to get into too much of the detail, but they're both very legendary books, and I'll have these in the description as well. But just for the sake of time, I'm just going to give you a brief overview. So let's just go ahead. The first one is called Advertising Secrets of the Written Word. This is by Joseph Sugarman, one of the most legendary advertisers of all time. So I just want to read this right here. The goal of copy. Throughout this book, I talk about the eventual goal of writing effective copy, namely to cause a person to exchange his or her hard-earned money for a product or service. It's really as simple as that. Direct marketing is truly the tool of the next century. Using direct marketing, you can move millions of people to reach into their pockets for millions of dollars, all from the power of your pen or the message you convey on a TV screen. For most of what I teach in this book, I use a print ad as reference points. Print ads are among the most difficult of all forms. That's kind of why I just want to show you that real quick. On a single page in 2 dimensions located in a medium with hundreds of competing messages and without sound or motion, you got to entice a person to start reading your ad, convey the complete story of your product or service, and then convince the person to reach for their phone and order. To understand this process and to effectively implement it requires a lot of experience and skill, but once you've mastered the skills, you have the ability to build a business from just the power of your pen. So I just want to share with you that statement real quick from Advertising Secrets of the Written Word by Joseph Sugarman. I will leave this in the description as well, not the specific link because you're not going to be able to have access to it from this link, but I will leave some resources whether you want to buy it or try to find it on the internet for free. And the other one I want to share with you is from the Robert Collier letter. This is an equally important and valuable book, and this is actually where I made an entire video about descriptive and vivid imagery in your writing. To a motorist, if you have ever driven your car in a rainstorm, you know how annoying it is, dangerous too, to have your windshield clouded with water. How many times have you narrowly avoided accidents under these conditions? With the cleaner attached to your car, all you need to do is turn a button in front of you and instantly every drop of water in your field of vision is swept from your windshield. The glass is left clear and clean. He's extremely good at descriptive writing. To a housewife, after you have your breakfast dishes washed, your floor is swept, and your bed's made up, I should like to have a moment of your time. You are an excellent judge of what is good to eat and know when you are getting what you should from your groceries to be saving, and yet set your table with healthful and dainty dishes for your family. So I'll be sure to leave this in the description, and that's pretty much all I wanted to share with you. There's a lot of different things that I want to show you, like the pickup truck that came from the new Ford Econo line, all the way new to save Ford big ways. Ford trucks cost less. Now this is an older advertisement as well. I wanted to share this with you, so I'll go ahead and leave this in the description. A lot of these have annotations, so all you really got to do is just come here and then just read the verbiage around it. This headline gets straight to the point. This is the cheapest pickup you can buy. The smaller copy then goes on to prove why this is a cheap truck and to buy and maintain. So this basically breaks down why this headline is saying what it says. So all right, so that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you like content like this, then I share stuff like this all the time when it comes to generating traffic and increasing sales. So I recommend that you check out my website, jonathancoast.com, and be sure to subscribe and take a look at the tools and the resources below. I have everything that I included in this tutorial. And with that said, I will see you in the next video. See you then.